The Cinderella story of 2022 in college football, something that has, for the first time in a long time, appeared on the radars of many people, but not for our guest. The Tulane Green Wave has been on his radar for how many years?
Probably since I started watching, so 2019.
Yeah, for 3 years.
Yeah.
He's been through
It's
the
the fourth season.
He's
I
been
think.
through the lows
Yeah.
and the heights. Not just in the last 3 seasons, but in fact in the last 2 seasons, because they went from 2-10 to 11-2. Before asking you about the season, I want you to tell the story. How did your fandom of Tulane came to be?
Yeah, so obviously I don't want to act like someone that's like, oh my god, I waited 10 years, like 20, 30 years for this to happen. Like, I'm relatively new to the fan base, but I'm still really happy. I obviously know their history. I know that in general they have not been a successful football program, or at least not since like the first half of the 20th century. So it's been a while. Their only really successful season was like 1998. Where they went undefeated and then claimed the national championship, because at the time there was still the BCS system where they only the 2 top teams just played in the final.
Both championship.
Just in the championship. So they just technically didn't get the option to play for the championship, so they just claimed the title. We've seen that happen to G5 teams, like UCF did it in 2017 as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I started watching college football in 2019. Like I was into the NFL for a while now, and I don't know, I just felt like it was time, because I've heard about college football before. I've seen a lot of like highlight videos and stuff like that, but I felt like it was time to get into it. So like during the 2019 season, it was mostly about like researching like the actual like maybe the conferences, the teams, like how it works, because obviously it's very confusing for someone that's new to the sport. I think like for me
The system is
it's so confusing,
weird,
like especially how players team each other and stuff like that.
Especially how they earn places in the playoffs.
Oh,
especially the
it's
fact that
like
you
if
have
someone is new to that, they have no idea.
You have small playoffs, and then the rest is just something that's
like
really
why
weird.
why is the 9-3 team over the I don't know, the 11-1?
Why is there a Tony the Lion bowl?
Yeah.
Tony the Lion Sun bowl.
The sponsor names are so bad. There's a couple of them, but yeah. So basically, I spent most of the 2019 season like just kind of getting into college football, and then trying to get or look for a team, because to me I need someone to root for to watch sports. I need a team, I need a player, I need someone to root for to get me like more invested. And I did a lot of like searching, to be honest. Like at the time I had a couple teams that I was rooting for at the beginning, because like for obvious reasons, like I like the Wisconsin Badgers because of Green Bay. I like the Utah Utes because of the Jazz, because I'm a Utah Jazz fan.
In the NBA,
yeah, a couple like Cincinnati Bearcats. Like for example, I was really happy for them. Like even last year with the playoffs. Like I'm not a fan of them, but I still like support them a lot.
They're very good in basketball. I don't know if you've watched college basketball.
I don't watch it a lot. I only follow like March Madness. So I had a couple teams like that I could root for, and then Tulane was one of them. To be honest, I don't really know what the reason for it was. One has to be the logo. Like I absolutely love their logo. It's, I don't know, like it's so cool. It's literally literally an angry wave.
Everyone just Google Tulane Green Wave, see the logo. You'll have
so
to, for
great.
anyone who hasn't.
I absolutely love it. I think that was the first sign that okay, this might be it. Their uniforms are great. Like they have like this powder blue and then like this light green uniforms. Like you can see these kind of similar colors. It's on the website. Really good uniforms. And I think the one thing that sold me was a game in 2019. They played against Houston Cougars. Yeah, again. Yeah. And they had like a touchdown in like the last 10 seconds of the game on like kind of like a trick play, and I don't know, it was a really great moment. I just kind of, I think that was the start of my fandom. I just kind of decided that okay, this is gonna be my team. I knew like I didn't want to pick like a huge team, obviously, because I felt like that was kind of easy to just get in college football and I don't know, root for Alabama. I didn't want to do that. So I tried to go for something more niche. That like because
you
I
went
think
for the suffering.
Yeah, it's not necessarily suffering.
Although this year is a different matter.
Yeah, it's not even about suffering. Like they could be bad. Like obviously I couldn't know before if they were like actually bad.
No, I know because they went down that route with UCLA.
Yeah, so it's mostly about. Are you a UCLA fan?
I used to be.
Ah, okay. So yeah, it was mostly about like they probably gonna be like all right as a football program, maybe bad, maybe sometimes good, but if there's gonna be like 1 year when they like really good, then that's gonna feel good. And I did not expect that to happen so early, especially not this year after last season's disaster. But yeah, here we are, Cotton Bowl, NY6 Bowl.
Yeah, they're ranked number 10.
AAC championship, like crazy.
We'll talk about that. Ranked number 10, they're gonna play USC in the Cotton Bowl. Yeah, as we saw, a lot of exciting things for Tulane. A lot of people being wrong in the preseason. And a very exciting squad. What do you expect from them next year?
For next year,
they still have the Cotton Bowl, but.
Yeah,
they'll be underdogs in there.
Yeah, it's tough because I have to see like all the people who can return and stuff, or who's gonna declare for the draft, because a lot of our best players are draft eligible. Our running back Tyjae Spears had like 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns this season, something like that. Really productive, averaged like 6.5 yards per carry. Awesome player, so he's probably gonna go to the draft. We have a senior center. I think he's going to go to the draft. The linebackers and I mentioned are probably going to the draft because they're both seniors. So I think we're going to lose a lot of talent. I hope this AAC championship might be a good way to potentially get more recruits, maybe even from like the New Orleans area, because the kids might see that Tulane could stay home and still have success in college football.
And that's difficult in a state that has a lot of good teams.
Yeah, also like with like LSU and not even like in Louisiana, you have Alabama stealing recruits all the time, even from LSU, not just Tulane. Like Tulane has a really tough time competing with all of those teams, and they're also private schools, so like they can't just admit like anyone. So
let's give a little bit of respect to the coach, Willie Fritz.
Oh, yeah.
That's his 6th season or 5th. I think that's his
I'm
5th season. That's his first. That's his 2nd winning season, if I'm not mistaken.
I think we had 6 one season, so like the 2nd bowl game, but I think the first win. But I'm not sure. By now.
Yeah. By far his best, and by far Tulane's best since 1998. Yeah. Where does Willie Fritz rank amongst all the head coaches in the history of the program, amongst the greatest coaches in the history of the program?
Yeah, so I tried to do some research on this, and the head coaches that came up first was obviously like one of them was what's his name? I wrote it down here. Oh yeah, Tommy Bowden. He was the head coach during the '98 season, so he would be probably considered the most successful head coach. Because other than that, it's been head coaches mostly from the 1920s and 30s that were listed. If I can trust the research on this, he could already be considered probably one of the most successful Tulane coaches. And I don't think he's gonna leave. Like I think he's gonna stay here. I think he really likes it at Tulane. There's no reason for him to leave because he's quite old. He doesn't really have anything else to do in his career now, so he can stay there until he retires. He can continue to collect wins, probably get the all-time win. He can become the all-time winningest coach at Tulane as well. Like, I don't know. And if he can somehow like keep the team afloat or competitive next season after losing all this talent probably in the draft, then I think he should be considered like among the greats. Like to me, for someone who's only experienced Willie Fritz as my head coach, I'm biased, so I would probably say he's the best. I don't know about all old school fans or fans that have been following for more than 20 years. Yeah. They might have a different opinion because of the 1998 year. Yeah. But I think Willie Fritz definitely deserves a mention as either the first or second best head coach in Tulane history. I mean, who has won an AAC championship? Obviously, they haven't been in there for that long, but